The idea for this conference, well, there were many people involved, but one of the major was that of George Spaeth, and he, Dr. Spaeth, will speak to you now.
Thank you, Mr. Strimmel. Good morning. Glad you're here. And there's one reason I hope is true for why you came here, which is you want to take care of yourself. That's the most important thing you can do to be healthy. You can do without all kinds of other things, but you can't do without taking care of yourself. That's the single most important thing. And you can all do it. And unfortunately, the medical profession has not been very good in getting that message across. But what doctors do isn't very important. What you do is what determines whether you're going to be sick or well. And one of the things I want to talk about today, because it's confusing for most people, I think, is when do you need to be treated for something? Because there are two aspects to health care. One is finding out what's wrong. First of all, the most important thing is wanting to remain healthy. But after that, finding out what's wrong, and then what do you do with it? So let's talk about that. And I'm going to talk, first of all, about glaucoma. And this is what, if you go to the books, this is what most of the books say. You get treated for glaucoma when you have an abnormal pressure, or when you have a family history, or when you develop visual field loss, or when your optic nerve becomes damaged. What do you think about that? Well, they're all wrong. They're all wrong. None of those is reason by itself to get treated. It's very important for you to understand that. Now, this is when it gets a little more closer to the real answers. Because sometimes there are some abnormal findings which are always associated with the person getting worse. And when the pressure gets high enough, maybe let's say 40 or 45 or something like that, everybody who has a pressure like that gets worse. Now, risk factors, well, they make it more likely, but they don't really tell you whether you're going to get it or not. What's the percentage that you have? You got 5 different risk factors. Does that make it more likely you're going to get a disease than if you only have 1 risk factor or no risk factors? No, because your only percentages of getting a disease are either 0% or 100%. You're either going to get it or you're not going to get it. And risk factors don't tell you which of those are. So, now the bottom one is that's getting pretty important. When something is gives you a clue that maybe something's wrong and then it seems to be getting worse, well, that's pretty important, but once again, none of those is the right answer. This is what I want you to put in your mind and to think about, and to remember this always, that everything in life goes through stages. And there's a stage where it's okay. That's the green zone. Then there's a stage where, like that's something suspicious getting more suspicious. It's, well, maybe, I don't know, this is like the yellow light on a stoplight. Better be cautious. Then there's the red zone. And you're foolish if you go through red lights. And if you're foolish, if when you're in the red zone you ignore that. I got a call from a neighbor about one of her friends 2 weeks ago. She said her friend told her he woke up and a week before he couldn't see anything out of his right eye. Well, that's the red zone. You can't see. It's obvious that something's wrong. So I said, put him on the phone and I'll talk to him. So sounded to me like he probably had a retinal detachment, something like that. So I said, you need to go to the emergency ward right now because you got something wrong, and if it's taken care of now, maybe it's going to be okay. So I got a telephone call from him yesterday. He didn't go to the Wilshire Hospital emergency. He went to a, quote, vision specialist who tried to give him glasses but couldn't make his vision better with glasses, and so said, I think you need to go to see something else, so you need a specialist. So he calls me and says, what specialist should I see? Now he's been 3 weeks unable to see in one eye. I mean, how can anybody do that? How can that happen? Because we're not trained with this idea that, as Mr. Harley said, we're responsible for our own health. It's my job to keep myself healthy. And when I wake up and can't see, I got to do something about that. So when you're in the red zone, you have something wrong. You can't see the curve, you feel sick, you're throwing up, you're dizzy. The red zone is different than the green zone. And you have to treat yourself differently depending upon which zone you're in. So, basically, when do you need some kind of treatment? Well, you need some kind of treatment when we have something that you feel that you don't like. You're dizzy. And it's not going away. Or you can't see. That's why you need to be treated. So think of that always. There it is. You're in the green zone, you're feeling well. A lot of doctors are going to treat you when you're in the green zone, because they have an abnormal finding, like a pressure of 30. Well, why do you need to be treated? You're feeling fine. Well, because maybe you're going to get worse, and they have to think about that. And there's some times when you're still feeling okay, when you need to be treated because it's certain that you're going to get worse. Now let's talk a little bit more. If you have some kind of condition for which there is no treatment, well, then you don't want to just do anything. You want to figure out how you can change your life so you can live with that condition best. But you don't want to take some kind of crazy treatment that's only going to make you worse. You want to make sure that the treatment that's going to be given to you is going to help you. That's the only purpose of the treatment. And finally then, let's look at that graph and we'll go back. Let's say you're in the middle of the green zone right up there. But you're getting worse. Well, if you're getting worse rapidly enough that you're going to end up in the red zone, you better take some treatment. But if you're getting worse so slowly that you're never going to end up in the red zone, it's going to take 60 years for your condition to get worse and you're already 80, well, you don't want any treatment. You don't need it because you're not going to get in the red zone. So you're going to be treated when you're in the red zone to start with, when you feel sick, or when it's certain that you're going to get into the red zone. And there's another, make it a little more complicated. If Let's say you look at your hand and you see a little black mole on there. And it seems to be getting bigger. Well, do you need to do anything about that? What do you think? You better check on that, because if that black mole is a cancer, a so-called malignant melanoma, if it's cut out when it's really small, it doesn't spread. But if it gets bigger, then it spreads, and then you're dead. So there's sometimes, even though you're feeling well, you're in the green zone, but you've got something which is certainly going to make you sick, or you don't know whether it's going to make you sick. But if it does, it's so serious that you better say, well, I don't know, so I'll have some trouble. I'll have this thing cut out, or, my pressure is 50 and I still seem to feel fine, but 50, well, it affects almost everybody, so I better be treated. So keep that in mind. Are you in the green zone? How long are you going to live? How rapidly is what you have changing? Because those are the things you need to know. Where am I to start with? That's the first thing. And if you're in the red zone, you need treatment, because anything's going to get worse unless there's no treatment for it. And then you have to do something else with your lifestyle. Are you in the yellow zone? Well, then you really need to see somebody who can give you some good advice. That's sort of the most difficult area. You have something that's probably wrong, but maybe it's not going to get worse rapidly enough, whatever. Or are you in the red zone? And so many people are in the red zone who just deny it. Well, it'll go away, or I won't do anything. All that does is make it worse. So you should be treated if you have enough vision loss and glaucoma that it's hard for you to go out at night. Something's wrong. You're in the red zone. There you are. You're down at the bottom. You can't see well enough to do what you need to do. Don't say, well, I'll just bear with it. Because effective treatment for glaucoma will get you a little bit of vision back. Second thing, let's say you're getting worse. We're talking about rate now. Let's say you have some visual field loss, and that visual field loss is getting worse sufficiently rapidly that it's going to continue. And we know that what that rate is. If we measure field loss in terms of decibels, and if you're getting worse at more than 1 decibel a year, and you're going to live for more than 7 years, you're going to lose at least 7 decibels, and that's going to make you, not your field, that's going to make you worse. So, there's that graph. I give it to my patients. I keep it in my head when I deal with my patients. I keep it in my head when I think of myself. Where am I? What's happening to me? What stages am I going through? How rapidly am I going through them? And how long is it going to take me to get where I want to go? Some other specific things. We talked about enough field loss. We talked about the rate of change. Now here's one that goes along with that third part that I said. Here's a person who feels fine. Everything's just great. But his eye is made in such a way that there's very little space in the front. He or she can't tell that. Doesn't know anything's wrong. But if you have a very small front of the eye, you have a good chance to get what's called angle closure glaucoma, the single greatest cause of irreversible blindness in the world. And it should never occur because you're going to be totally prevented by a safe procedure. All you need to do is have what's called a laser iridotomy. There's virtually no complication to a laser iridotomy, and it prevents you from getting angle closure glaucoma. So here's a situation in which you're still in the green zone, but you have something which is certainly going to make you worse, and there's a good treatment for it. Very simple, you get treated, or else you're awfully seriously asking to get sick. So in conclusion, you need to be treated when you're sick. And there's a treatment for it when you're in the red zone. By and large, you don't need to be treated when you're well, unless there are certain situations in which you're going to become sick. And if somebody suggests a treatment for you, say, why do I need that treatment? I feel fine. And if you can't get an answer, say, well, I think maybe I'm going to see somebody else. I think it's time to stop, so thank you all very much for your attention. I appreciate you coming today. Bye-bye.